Hello Mohawk! On this episode of MoCast we find out more about Aboriginal Student Services at Mohawk College. We shine the spotlight on some graphic design students who came up with some really cool posters for International Women's Day. Then we take a road trip to our Stoney Creek campus where I check out the CNC lab and I'm not giving back these cool safety glasses. Okay. All right, so here we are at the Aboriginal Student Center here at the Fennell campus, and I am joined with Ron McClester. Ron, how are you?
I'm fantastic, thanks.
Ron, what's your title?
Director and Special Advisor, Aboriginal Initiatives.
Okay, so give us a sort of a high-level overview of the number of Aboriginal students we have here at Mohawk and where they're coming from.
Well, we have approximately 450 students, Aboriginal students, that are self-identified or that we found out through a number of different ways of looking into it. But we suspect it's probably about a third more than that. Approximately half those students come from the urban core, and the other half would come from unreserved community like Six Nations or New Credit.
So what role does, so this is a relatively new space, what role does this play in the lives of our Aboriginal students?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's a place where they can come and, receive support services relative to, their studies, their academic pursuits, but also integration into the community, acquiring traditional knowledge, getting in touch with some of the elders or knowledge carriers within our community. I think the other interesting part about our service is that we're not just exclusively open to Aboriginal students.
The doors are open to everyone.
The doors are open to everyone, and if you come in here any random day, you're going to see a variety of different students here. Some of the non-Aboriginal students are here because their partners or peers are in the boardroom, or they're here to take part of a workshop. Maybe it's soup day. And so the idea is that it's not just a support service area, it's a place where we're able to transmit Indigenous knowledge to anybody who's interested.
Okay, so obviously this center plays a key role in the lives and the academic success of our Aboriginal students, because as I understand it, the KPI scores, student satisfaction scores, the grad rates are really high.
They have been really high. In fact, recently the Practical Nursing with Aboriginal Communities program scored the highest KPA ratings for student satisfaction within the college.
The reason we have you in front of the camera is to talk about a grant that you recently wrote. You are like the expert grant writer. So what was that grant? How much did you secure, and what will the money be invested in?
Well, it's a $1 million grant, so we're really excited to have hit that mark, and it's really based in partnerships. So instead of taking a competitive approach to support services and program creation and academic delivery, we're looking to cooperate with some of our previously conceptualized competitors. So we'll be working with Sheridan College, people from the Reserve are involved, Six Nations Polytechnic, for instance. We'll be working with Wilfrid Laurier and Guelph to really look at a strategic approach to program creation and academic delivery.
Okay, so you've been with the Mohawk now since 2009. If I do my math right, that's around 5 years. What are you most proud of? I mean, what's the one accomplishment that you'll look back on and say, that was a fantastic achievement for the college?
I think just the Aboriginal initiatives. I mean, since 2009, we've tripled our resource allocation from the government. We've doubled the staff twice. We've doubled the student enrollment. And the college has been really supportive for what we want to do relative to Indigenous knowledge and Indigenous knowledge transmission. Mohawk's a really supportive place for what we're doing. It has great relationships with our community. And most importantly, they put our students first, and that doesn't end or start with just the Aboriginal population.
All right, so a class of 30 students did posters for International Women's Day. These are the finalists, the chosen ones. So congratulations. If you can introduce yourselves and then let us know who you chose and why you chose that woman to profile in your posters.
Hi, I'm Karen Evans. I chose Cheryl Jensen, and the purpose of this was to choose local women from our own community and as close to home as possible. Yeah. So I figured the Vice President Academic of our college was a pretty good choice for that.
You can't get much closer than that.
No, you can't.
That's great. Okay, and you are?
Angel Bond, and I chose my close friend Jennifer Ainscow.
Who was a welder.
Yes, she's a female welder. That's one of the reasons why I chose her. It's generally a male-dominated trade, and so it's very unusual, I'd say, to have a woman in that field. And she loves what she does, and she's very proud of it. So I'd like to reflect that in my art. That's
a nice sort of tribute to your friend. You can put her on a poster. And you are?
I'm Bethany Heaton. I chose Janet Ferguson. She's an architect, and I chose her because I was inspired by how she was inspired to join to become an architect because of her dad and his friends. So I kind of shared that with her, being inspired by people in my life. So
That's cool. Nicely done. And you are, last but not least.
My name is Riel Samante. I did Karina Chang. She is a mechanical engineer from Cambridge, Ontario. And I chose her because I recently got sort of interested in mechanical engineering just because I've read some things recently about them, and I just found that she was really relatable.
You've spent like your entire semester working on these posters. What is it that you get out of it as a student?
I think it's really rewarding to see it as a final product. You know, we work from traditional media to digital media, so a lot of times we spend hours and hours on our computers, and then to have something physical at the end, I think it's a really great experience.
Now, do you get to keep the canvas?
Yes, they're ours.
All right.
Yeah.
Nicely done. And joining us now is Life Peng. Life, you are?
I'm a professor in the graphic design program here at Mohawk College.
When did you join the college?
I think it was the last month of 2009.
All right. So you've been with us a while. Now, this is an annual tradition, as I understand, where you get your graphic design students to do posters for International Women's Day. How long have you been doing this?
Pretty much since I got here. Yeah, Sue Prestige, the coordinator of pre-media, asked us to do a poster project related to International Women's Day.
And you never say no to Sue.
And no one ever says no to Sue. And we're delighted to do it because it's a great experiential learning opportunity for my students to design a poster that is potentially going to be a real poster that goes up on the wall and is seen by thousands of people.
Yeah, so how long do the students work on these posters for?
We spend half a semester on this project, which sounds like a long time, but based on 3 hours per week, it's pretty accurate to how long you would actually spend on a graphic design project in the real world.
Right. So where will we see these posters?
They'll be up this year all over the college, all of our campuses, and this year we're especially excited because they are being distributed to all the local high schools as well. We're really privileged to have the college provide us with funding this year to print enough posters to reach out to the entire community, which has really always been our bigger goal.
So there's also something on the back side of all these posters. Can you explain what that is?
That's right, yeah. What we were hoping is that we could have a bit of a sustainability angle to this project this year. It's great that these posters are going to go up and International Women's Day is coming, but that is a one-day event, and the thought of all these posters then being taken down and potentially thrown away was something that we were trying to figure out a way to avoid. So the back of each poster has curriculum-related material to whatever subject area is on the front. So what we hope is that many, if not all of these posters will be retained, and when International Women's Day is over, they can be used in the classroom and provide additional benefit to students who are interested in perhaps pursuing these career areas.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Was there a theme for this year's posters?
Yes, and it's a theme that we've been gradually focusing in on more and more, which is women in science, technology, and skilled trades. And these are areas that are typically underserved by the female half of the population. So creating more awareness about career potential for women in these areas is something that we're really targeting.
So here we are at the Stoney Creek campus at the machine shop, and within the machine shop is the CNC lab. We are joined by Prof. Robert Clark. Robert, how are you?
I'm good today. How are you?
Never better. Never better. So before you became a prof, what did you do?
I worked in manufacturing and in maintenance for about 30 years. Worked offshore on the oil rigs, worked in Europe. Came to Canada in 1980 and then developed more skills. 3 more red seals in machining, millwright and welding. So I have many hats.
And you know what you're doing with the students?
Hopefully I know what I'm doing by now.
Excellent. So let's start at sort of basic level. CNC, what does that stand for?
CNC stands for Computer Numerical Control.
Okay.
It's just basically a manual machine that's got very accurate little ball screws, a computer that we can input information, and servos that move those ball screws to very accurate measurements within, let's say, 1/10 of a thou.
Okay, so what are you manufacturing with a CNC machine?
Mainly for production work, because CNC is designed for production. Multiple setups, lots of tool changes, very intricate work that can't be achieved economically on a manual machine.
Okay, is it primarily automotive?
I would say primarily automotive. Other areas would be mold making and obviously medical, designing different components.
Okay, so here in our lab, how many CNC machines do we have?
We have 5 machining centers by Haas, and we have 5 of the Haas lathe centers. Yes.
Okay, and now are these loans, or did we buy these machines?
These were actually a donation a few years ago by Haas, on the understanding that if they needed to come in and do some demonstrations for clients, we could use these machines.
So students who use this equipment, when they graduate, what do they go and do?
If you're looking from a millwright standpoint, the millwright grade 3 levels are exposed to the Haas machines and programming, in case they get into maybe machine building, machine installations and setups, especially on CNC machines, so they have an idea how the machines function.
All right, so joining us now at the CNC lab is?
My name is Michael Dreger, and I'm taking the manufacturing techniques process at Mohawk College.
All right, so how long have you been with the college now?
This is my first year, second semester.
Okay, so early reviews. What do you think of the program?
It's going really well. They give you lots of good opportunities to use the machines, get a lot of hand-on experience. Their teachers are really good, knowledgeable. They know what they're talking about, and they give you a lot of good experience.
Okay, so why did you choose this program?
I wanted to get into the trades, but I wasn't really entirely sure where I wanted to go in the trades. Millwrighting and machinist, it's a good starting point. There's a lot of places you can take it. You can go into hydraulics, welding, manufacturing, CNC programming, CNC operating. It gives me options. I can get my red seal, I can go and take other trades, move across Canada and work outside of the country. So a lot of options.
You've got it all figured out. I like that.
I think I do.
All right, so what do you enjoy most about working in the machine shop?
The novelty of using the big machines hasn't really worn off yet, so that's fun. But getting to see the technology and how it's actually used, and how there's a lot of different crossover between stuff you've already learned in high school. Because in high school they always teach you stuff, but there's not really any context to how you can use it, and it feels like it gives a lot of justification to what we learned in high school.
All right, so here we're here. No.
Who's the professional here?
It's not me.